Hello and welcome. I'm gonna show you how to get the Choir of One exotic auto rifle along with the catalyst and the perks. First, I'm going to explain how to unlock the mission and how the mechanics inside the mission work. Then I'm going to go over the catalyst. So if you already know how the mission works, you can just skip to this time on the screen and I'll walk you through the catalyst. By the way, I have been streaming on Twitch where I've been doing a bunch of helps to get people through this mission and unlock everything they need. So if you didn't want to do it alone and you'd like to join some raffles, you can see me there. In order to get access to this mission, you're gonna want to do all of Act 1 and Act 2 of the storyline, and once you have that done, you're gonna start Act 3 by talking to Failsafe for about 3 to 5 minutes, and that will give you access to the exotic mission. I do recommend doing this mission on normal first. Once you're inside the mission, kill some of the ads and then move all the way to the right side to this ramp, walk up to it, and then drop down on the sphere, and you should be able to see a hole where you're gonna drop down. I'm going to speed up the video just a bit so you can follow the pathway. I do highly recommend you do some exploring in some of these areas just because there's a lot of little traps and hidden things you can see. Now once you come across this pot with a green symbol inside, that is going to introduce you to the mechanic that you'll be using throughout the entire mission. If you walk close enough to the pot, it says you require something in order to interact with it. So for right now, we're gonna leave this pot alone, move to the right side, and just keep running straight until you encounter more of these pots. Inside the cave, you'll definitely see 2 more pots with green symbols. One of them, you have to require something to interact with it, and the other one, you can retrieve the green symbol. Now if you retrieve that buff, you will see from a distance that that white barrier is going to form and the floor is going to disappear. Now take that buff and place it into the other pot. When you do that, you will see a floor forming right in front of you. Not just that, but you will also see a Vex complex spawn in front of you. And from a distance, you can see there are 3 red diamonds, and when you interact this complex, one of the diamonds is going to turn white. So you have to find 2 more of these complex in order to turn them all white. But the green buff is required. So once you have interacted with this complex, go back to that green buff, pick it up again. It's gonna make the floor disappear. You're then going to move to the left side of the room. You'll find another pot to place it in, and then you'll have a floor appear and the white barrier is going to disappear right in front of you. And inside that tiny room that just opened up is another one of those Vex complex that you need to interact with. For the last one, it's going to introduce you to another colored buff, and that's going to be yellow. So pick up that green buff, drop down and place it into the next pot. You're then going to walk inside this tiny room that just opened up, and inside you're gonna clear some ads. One of the enemies though is going to spawn in a yellow buff. Planting the yellow buff in the yellow pot is going to create a hole in the wall, which allows you to run back out to grab the green buff, and because we now have that extra hole in the wall, you can just take it and bring it inside this tiny room to place it in the pot. That is going to open up this little area for you to interact with the next Vex complex, and once you have done that, we don't care about the yellow buff anymore. Those are kind of like a one-time use, but you do want to pick up that green buff and bring it back upstairs. Plant it back in this pot to open up a door in front of you. Take that pathway all the way down until you come across another green buff. Pick that one up because we're gonna need it, and then you're gonna find out what happens after that. Let's just say you're gonna have to be fast. Your objective is to bring that green buff back outside where you came from, plant it into this pot, and then you or your friend can grab the other green buff that we used to open that little door. Because we no longer need it, someone can grab the buff, and we're gonna proceed to go back outside the cave where you originally found that very first green pot, and you're gonna plant it inside here in order to cross this bridge. In this next part, you're gonna have to do some running and jumping, and once you get through that, you're gonna slay out all the enemies, and once that miniature spawns in, kill it. It's going to drop a yellow buff, pick it up, and plant it on the second floor in the pot. That will open up the doorway. Here you can collect some goodies and then go up to the elevator, and in this next part, you're gonna get introduced to a brand new buff. This new buff is blue, and to find it, you're gonna go to the right side and you'll see it sitting on this little stool. Pick it up and plant it, and it's going to activate a portal. Inside, you're gonna kill all the other enemies until a blue buff spawns in on the ground. Pick it up and bring it to the pot next to this portal. Go inside it, and it's actually gonna bring you back to the very first room. You're gonna retrieve the blue buff, go back outside the portal, and you're gonna plant it in the other pot next to the other portal. Don't forget the green buff, and definitely tell your friends to run and jump as fast as they can after they're inside the portal, because it's going to be really funny. Then you're going to plant that green buff into the pot to your right, and that's going to form another platform with another portal. One person just has to go back inside the place that you just came from, pick up that blue buff that's all the way on the other side, bring it back, and then spawn in the next portal, which will actually bring you to a mini boss room. In here, you're going to fight a subjugator and a tormentor, and you just have to do a little bit of damage at a time in order for them to spawn in a blue buff that you're going to pick up and activate the next portal. Take it inside, and you're going to do more damage, and you're just going to repeat that process until you're back outside in this main area where you're going to fight both of them. After the mini bosses, you're going to progress through the mission by running forward and killing a lot of enemies on your way. You'll eventually make it to this portal that you're going to take inside. You're going to have to activate some lore to the left side near this robot. Listen to the lore, and you'll see an indicator pop up that takes you to the boss room. Starting the encounter will spawn in a miniature who's going to drop a green buff. Pick it up and plant it in the pot. That is going to spawn in a Vex complex that you need to activate. After activation, the boss is going to tell you whether to go left or right side with a little indicator as well as a cyclops. Grab the green buff, and whichever side you have to go to, you're going to plant it to the nearby pot with the green indicator. That is going to spawn in an entire area with a red plate in the center that you need to capture. There's probably going to be a lot of enemies that may spawn in while you're capturing. However, once you have captured the plate, the boss is going to have a little weak spot on his shield that you can destroy in order to start damage phase. You can already start damaging the boss where he's at, but after around 5 seconds or so, he's going to teleport closer to you. That is where you're going to go all out with damage. From what I know, the faster and the more damage you do, the less chances of him to go immune in an earlier stage. So you can actually do enough damage until you make it to that final last bar. No matter what, he's going to go immune. However, it is okay if the boss goes immune earlier. In case you didn't do enough damage to bring him to that final stand part, you're basically going to go back to the middle area. You may have to activate a portal by killing a miniature who drops a blue buff, but you may also be able to just jump over there to the middle where you have to reactivate that green buff into the pot. That's going to spawn in another Vex complex that you need to activate, and then you're going to have to recapture another plate. You're basically going to repeat everything. However, if you did make it to final stand, there's most likely a bunch of red walls blocking off areas, so find a miniature, kill it, and pick up the blue buff to activate a nearby portal. Inside, you're gonna go to the boss, shoot another one of those triangles on his shield, and then damage him until he's dead. And that will grant you the exotic auto rifle Choir of One. Now that you have the weapon, I'm going to go over how to get the catalyst and all the extra perks. First, you're going to talk to Failsafe and pick up a quest called Specimen 007. Complete the quest by continuing on the main storyline, as well as doing things on Nessus like killing Vex or opening up chests in a lost sector. Once you have have that Specimen 007 quest completed, talk to Banshee at the tower. He is going to give you a catalyst quest that wants you to open up a secret chest inside the exotic mission and complete the exotic mission on expert mode. Basically, by completing the quest from failsafe, it allows you to access areas inside the mission where you can get the chest from that Banshee wants you to find. So go ahead and launch the expert mode mission and run until you make it to this purple room. Take the left pathway inside the small room. You're going to see a Vex complex to activate, and that will start this puzzle. It is going to spawn a bunch of squares above you and you need to shoot them in order. Just pay attention of a tiny square that's going to spawn below one of the squares. That's how you know which one to shoot first. So you're going to shoot it, and then it's going to spawn on a different square and just keep repeating the process. Eventually, once you have those done, you're going to see a bunch of squares spawn in front of each of the portals, and you're going to repeat the same process. Once you've shot them all down correctly, it is going to spawn a chest in the middle. Now, this chest will not give you a perk towards your weapon, but you basically do this part in order to activate all these portals, because later in the mission, we're going to be using them. The next puzzle is located here, which is right before the blue buff introduction. Interact with this Vex complex and it's going to open up a portal to your right. Take the portal inside and then take the other portal, which will actually bring you back to the spawn area at the very beginning of the mission. Here you'll find a Vex complex you interact with, and that is going to spawn in some very fine lines that you need to follow, because at the very end of it there's going to be a brown plate that you need to shoot. So just keep following all the fine lines and shoot all the brown plates. Once you have them all, it's going to spawn in a chest that will give you a command frame 2 for your weapon. The final puzzle is going to be located in this Exo Lab area. There's going to be another Vex complex you have to interact with, which will open up a portal. You're going to do the same thing as earlier and proceed with another portal, which will bring you to this new puzzle area. You're going to see 2 blue buffs right in front of you, along with a bunch of portals and red diamonds everywhere. And if you look above you, there are purple crystals, which they all need to be destroyed in order to finish this puzzle. However, it does come with a twist. If you plant a blue buff to one of the portals, you will see a white line strike out to one of the diamonds, turning it white. That means if you take that portal right now, it will actually teleport you above that white diamond. And when you're up there, you're going to shoot the crystal. That will make some of the other crystals immune and some not, so you have to go for the unimmune ones first in order to unlock the others. There are 2 different strats. You can either choose the Chaos strat, where you basically just activate every single portal, jump through them, and shoot every crystal that you can until you get them all down, or you can choose the other strat, where you basically keep checking the ground above and see which of the crystals are not immune and activate the correct portal in order to teleport up there. Once you have it done, it is going to spawn in a chest, and that is actually the chest that Banshee wanted you to find. So after this, all you have to do is finish the boss on expert mode and you'll get the catalyst perk Subsistence. And that is everything that you can unlock right now. I'm going to assume that next Tuesday we'll be able to find the next catalyst perk and intrinsic mod to unlock on our weapon. Thank you so much for coming in and watching. I really hope this guide has helped you out a lot, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask down below. Right now on my Twitch and my YouTube live streams, I've been doing a bunch of helps to get people through these missions and unlock everything they need, so definitely go and check me out there. Also, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It would help out tremendously and I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for coming in and watching. I'll either see you in a live stream or in another video. Bye!